In focus, ladies and gentlemen, a month after the tragic Air India plane crash in Ahmedabad that claimed the lives of 260 people, Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, or the AAIB, has released the preliminary probe report. As per this report, fuel cutoff switches of both engines transitioned from run to cutoff position, one after another, within a time gap, led to the snapping of fuel supply to both engines, causing them to lose power. However, the report doesn't mention what caused the fuel switches to move. Was it due to human action or mechanical failure, or some electronic issue? That critical question remains unanswered and is the focus of the ongoing investigation. The preliminary report also contains a paraphrased account of the communication that took place inside the cockpit pertaining to the fuel cutoff. One of the pilots is heard asking the other, why did he cut off the fuel switch? To which the other pilot responds that he did not do so. After the fuel supply cutoff, the pilots scrambled to save the aircraft. Within 10 to 14 seconds of the fuel cutoff, they moved both fuel switches back to the run position. Both engines began automatic restart sequences, with engine 1 showing signs of recovery and engine 2 attempting to relight. However, the recovery could not be achieved due to insufficient time and altitude. Times Now gets you a real-time analysis from a simulator cockpit explaining what could have happened that time.
That's the million-dollar question, that what happened in this particular time period, because for 31 seconds the flight was in the air, starting from the time it took a lift from the ground. At 3 seconds, what we got to know, we are in this flight simulator. This is the bus 320. I'm joined by Captain Alos, who will be describing it for the viewers that what exactly happened in this time period.
Actually, if you look here, this is engine number 1. This is engine number 1, engine number 2. In Airbus, we call it master switches. In Boeing, we call it fuel shutoff valve. So basically, all they are doing is supplying fuel.
So I took a lift.
Yes. So in this particular case, the pilots, they advance the throttle for takeoff. And aircraft accelerated to a speed of 180 knots. Now this airspeed has increased.
And so now we are taking off. It's 1, 2, 3. Now I am telling you, why have you switched it off?
At this time, if you see, both the engines has been switched off. Engine electronic control. It will try to automatically give continuous ignition to the engine to enable the pilots to start the engines. They started to try they tried to start the
exactly
engines.
in 30 seconds.
Absolutely. One of the engine did not respond. One engine responded for the startup. It started to spool up. But it was too late, because by the time the aircraft already crashed.
All right, let's take you through what have been the findings as far as this probe report is concerned. Finding number 1, viewers, is that it states that the plane was destroyed due to the impact with buildings on ground. The second finding of this report states that emergency locator transmitter in the plane was not activated. The landing gear lever was found to be in down position, is what this report also states. Another finding of this probe report, which is preliminary in nature, also says that thrust levers remained forward. Takeoff thrust, remember, until impact. While the fuel supply to engines was cut off, takeoff values decreased, obviously, as an impact of the fuel supply being cut off to the engines. Another finding of this report is that one of the pilots is heard asking about the sudden fuel stop, as we told you, to which the other pilot says he did not press the fuel cutoff switches. No significant bird activity observed in the vicinity is also what this preliminary report states. Obviously, there was a lot of speculation whether this could be a bird hit. That has now been eliminated. The plane began losing altitude before clearing the airport perimeter. And seconds later, the fuel cutoff switch transitioned to run, which is what perhaps was happening in the cockpit that time, with both pilots trying to save the aircraft. Engine 1 core deceleration stopped. It began recovering. But what happened to engine 2? The report says that engine 2 was able to relight, but deceleration persisted due to lack of time in all probability. Engine 2 reintroduced fuel repeatedly to boost acceleration. At about 1:39 p.m., as per the report, one of the pilots transmitted Mayday. ATC inquired about the call sign but did not get any response. This is as per the preliminary report, as we have been telling you. These have been the findings. But remember, crucially, this AAIB preliminary report has not recommended any action against these entities, and that is why a lot of questions are also being raised. The initial crash probe report had said Boeing aircraft manufacturer, no action recommended. Remember, General Electric, which is also the engine manufacturer, no action has been recommended against them as well. Air India, which is the operator of Boeing 7878 aircraft, no action recommended here either by this preliminary report. Meanwhile, the Civil Aviation Minister warned against drawing conclusions, urging people to wait for the final report.
I don't think we should jump into any conclusions on this. I truly believe we have the most wonderful workforce in terms of pilots and the crew in the whole world. I have to appreciate all the efforts the pilots and the crew in this country are putting into the aviation. They are the backbone of this civil aviation. They are the primary resource of civil aviation, and we care for the welfare and well-being of our pilots also. So let's not jump to any conclusions at this stage. Let us wait for the final report.
नहीं, अभी तो ये AAIB ने जो रिपोर्ट प्रस्तुत की है प्राथमिक रिपोर्ट है, तो अभी ऐसा कुछ भी निष्कर्ष ना निकाले हम, क्योंकि मेरी भी सबसे विनती यही रहेगी कि अभी तो ये प्राथमिक रिपोर्ट है, इसके बाद भी जांच जारी रहेगी। अभी उसके बहुत सारी चीजें आगे आएगी। एक जो सामने आया उसमें से कुछ निष्कर्ष अभी हम नहीं निकाल सकते। मुझे लगता है यही काफी है कि अभी AAIB की टीम अच्छा काम कर रही है। केवल 1 महीने के अंदर उन्होंने प्राथमिक रिपोर्ट या प्रस्तुत की है। पहले तो अगर ब्लैक बॉक्स भी मिलता था, एक हेलीकॉप्टर का भी एक्सीडेंट होता तो ब्लैक बॉक्स के लिए हम विदेश जाना पड़ता, लेकिन अभी यही सब हो रहा है, तो अभी काम जलद गति से चल रहा है, फास्ट चल रहा है।
Despite government's appeal against jumping the gun, the opposition parties have rushed to conclusions. The Congress has claimed that BJP government is trying to save certain people and pin the blame on the pilots. The TMC, meanwhile, has asserted that the pilots switched off both fuel cutoff switches is making an absolute mockery of India. Mamata Banerjee's party has also alleged that Boeing's PR cabal can get away by saying anything. In fact, similar sentiments were echoed by the RJD that claimed that governments are controlled by big companies and huge money.
I have a strong feeling that government of India, BJP government, is trying to save certain skins.
So, in fact, this morning, the Civil Aviation Minister, Mr. Naidu, also said that this is just the initial report. More findings will come up and that no conclusions should be drawn at this point. This is going to be a very professional and a transparent investigation, is what he claims.
You are trying to test it. If we blame pilots, what shall be the reaction? Definitely, this statement itself proves they wanted to save certain bureaucrats, certain persons. So, this report cannot be accepted at all.
और अब जो प्रारंभिक रिपोर्ट आई उसमें कहा जा रहा है कि दोनों इंजन की फ्यूल सप्लाई बंद हुई। ये कैसे हुआ? जब एक आदमी टिकट लेके बैठता है तो उसकी सुरक्षा की गारंटी वो सरकार करती है, जो मेंटेनेंस करती है। आखिर 270 से ज्यादा जाने जिस हादसे में गई हूं उसका गुनहगार कौन है, दोषी कौन है, देश जवाब चाहता है।
देखिए, महत्वपूर्ण ये चीज है, एक बड़ी कंपनी इन्वॉल्व है, बल्कि सच ये कहूं कि एक बहुत बड़ी पूंजी इन्वॉल्व है। कई मीडिया में मैं देख रहा था इस रिपोर्ट का इंटरप्रिटेशन, इंतरिम रिपोर्ट का इंटरप्रिटेशन था जब पायलट की। अब तो वो बेचारे दुनिया में आएंगे नहीं और आकर के ये नहीं कहेंगे कि मेरा नाम घसीट के नाइंसाफी कर रहे हो। क्या ये तकनीकी खराबी की वजह से स्विच ऑफ हुआ? कौन पूछेगा? बड़ी पूंजी है भाई, बड़ी पूंजी के नियंत्रण में सरकारें चला करती है।